Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online divorce mediation and valuation services in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss business valuations and changes in the IRS for 2022 with a former IRS auditor, Mike Gregory. Mike Gregory is the founder and owner of Mike Gregory Consulting, LLC. He brings 28 years of experience with the IRS in a variety of capacities. During his last 11 years with the IRS, he was an IRS territory manager with responsibilities for up to 23 states, with an emphasis in business valuation and specialist issues nationally. He's also was involved with creating and talking to the IRS about the discounts for lack of marketability and also reasonable compensation. The other book that he has written is called The Collaboration Effect, which basically brings together neuroscience and kind of negotiation techniques in order for you to work with the IRS if you needed to in some capacity. When we get to court, though, we're either talking tax court, and that's a federal case. So do we have any federal cases or tax court cases that are related to the IRS and business valuations that you think are important for everybody to review, especially if you're in this space?
And I'm going to make it relatively simple and say there are three.
Okay.
One is, it's a long one, it's the estate of Michael Jackson, May 3rd, 2021. This is a win for the taxpayer overall. There were three different entities being valued, and the appraisers on that were referred to as the dream team. The best appraisers out there on these topics, and information being presented for the taxpayer. And on the three different issues, I'll just call them issues 1, 2, and 3. On issues 1, 2, and 3, 1, the taxpayer won at 97%. 2, the taxpayer won at 100%. 3, the IRS won at 94%. And I'm saying that to you, and then overall the taxpayer won with 68% on what the impact was in terms of tax and value. Having said that, the key here is that the tax court, U.S. tax court, has said basically one side's going to win. We have to decide which one's more reasonable, and they're going to win. Now, we might tweak it. So 97%, 100%, 94%, those are some small tweaks, but basically one side wins. That's the Michael Jackson case. Then there are two older cases. The estate of Gallagher is an excellent case on where the court went through and said, we're trying to understand what you've done, but you haven't written a report for us. You've written a report for another business valuer. And that's great, but we're not business valuers. And I have to work with what's in front of me. And I have to understand on how you've written it. So it's a really good critique on what the court wants to see. That's the estate of Gallagher. And then another case that I just want to bring up to you is a more recent case is the Aaron Jones case. It's the estate of Aaron U. Jones, August 19th, 2019. By the way, the Gallagher case is June 28th, 2011. Now, I recently made a presentation. I made several different presentations to Business Valuation Resources, AGN International, the ASA International Conference. And I have in front of me 11 cases. And of these 11 cases, I'm just valuing 1120Ss and tax affected. And of these 11 cases, there are 7 where the IRS has said you can't tax affect on an 1120S. And there are 2 of them where the taxpayer won. One is the estate of Aaron U. Jones. In that case, there were 2 different valuations. And for one of them, the IRS didn't even have a valuation. They showed up in court and said, we should win this because of how we've won on other cases legally. And the court said, if you don't have a valuation, you lose. I'm like, who took this case to court at the IRS? Right. What are you thinking? The other one is the Crest case, but that's a U.S. District Court case. That's the Eastern District of Wisconsin. So if you're in Milwaukee or Green Bay, this applies to you, but it's not a national case. It's a U.S. District case.
And it's KRESS, right?
I'm sorry?
The Crest case is KRESS, right?
Yes. But 6 of the last cases the IRS has taken to court, they've lost. Mm-hmm. Now that actually bothers me personally. I headed up business valuation for 11 years. On any of the cases that we were involved with, we didn't lose a case in 11 years. And they've lost their last 6 in a row. So I've actually written a letter to the person that heads up this program at the IRS and said, There's some real issues on these more recent cases. One of the cases is called Lucero. It's a district court case out of New Mexico. And the IRS actually went to court with something called a review with an opinion of value. That's what you write on exam. An exam, you might review a report and say, hey, I've got an issue, issues on the DLOM. So you just write up an issue on the DLOM saying I'm accepting everything else. But that's not an appraisal. If you go to court, you need an appraisal. Well, they went to court, and I know this appraiser personally. He's a good guy out of Denver. So I think management failed here. They had him go to court with a review with an opinion of value, and the court said, what is this? It's a review, and you critiqued one asset, and you said it should be something else. And reality is, I give it no credibility. So IRS, you have nothing. So we talked about having a qualified appraiser and a qualified appraisal, and you don't have a qualified appraisal. You're in my court. I'm sorry, you lose. I'm like, why did we go to court with this case with that fact pattern?